Welcome to Giving Aloha. I'm John Howell, the President and CEO of Easter Seals Hawaii, and we're delighted to have this opportunity to try and share some information with you about the exciting things that are going on at Easter Seals Hawaii today, but also a little bit about our history. I have some special guests with me today, and I'd like to introduce those individuals. Cody, Alyssa, and Miley, and Don Robbs. Don Robbs is one of our longtime volunteers at Easter Seals, going back, I think, about 35 years, Don. I don't want to tell too many tales out of school, but let's just say it's been over 3 decades. Could you just share just a little bit about what you have seen happen during that period of time?
I've seen tremendous growth in what Easter Seals provides in the way of services. I've seen tremendous growth in budget, facilities, coverage in the state of Hawaii. But you know, one thing that hasn't changed over the years, John, and that is the key role that volunteers play. I've been a board member for a long time. I'm not so sure about the 35-year part, but I've been on the board for a long time and had the pleasure of hosting a bunch of telethons and Taste of Honolulu specials. And I've met hundreds and actually thousands of volunteers over the years who have helped make Easter Seals work. And I've always been impressed by the fact that Easter Seals has never lost sight of its mission, and that is to provide services for people with disabilities. And you know, if you go back 62 years to the beginning of Easter Seals in Hawaii, you can see that the founders of this organization established that basis. And if you don't mind, let's take a look at a little historical piece. Back you up here 62 years and the beginning of Easter Seals in Hawaii.
Great.
Easter Seals Hawaii has been a part of the Hawaiian landscape for over 6 decades. It started as a true grassroots campaign. Many notable people in the islands, families, politicians, and celebrities concerned about what was happening with the care of young children with disabilities. With their help, Easter Seals Hawaii was born on this property 62 years ago.
Back in those early days, most everything that Easter Seals did with a small staff was of a volunteer nature. And so as the head of the board, Governor Burns was responsible for helping raise funds to make sure that the legacy of Easter Seals continued to its present day.
Today, the son of Governor Burns explains why his father helped establish the Easter Seals organization in Hawaii more than 60 years ago.
Well, in the late 30s, when my mother was pregnant with a boy before me, during the pregnancy, she got what was called then infantile paralysis, polio. And the boy lived not too long after he was born. While she was paralyzed, she became pregnant with me. And questionable whether I was going to be born. But fortunately I was healthy. But here's this paralyzed woman. And I think he was inspired by the difficulties that she went through, that maybe he could help others by starting Easter Seal. In those days, Easter Seal was for polio. It was not what it is now.
Today, 6 decades later, Easter Seals Hawaii provides over 400,000 hours of direct services every year, reaching more than 3,000 individuals with disabilities and their families annually. Here's Emmy Timimbang with more.
The success stories here are endless, like the story of Katie O'Brien. With the help of Easter Seals and a most devoted mother, Katie's disability has turned into the gift of expression in her artwork.
She's taught me just perseverance, to keep on going, you know, that she has her needs that I have to still, you know, work on and keep her going, you know, and together we're going to make it.
Luke Longnecker came to Easter Seals when he was only 6 months old. Today he has transitioned to Queen Liliuokalani School.
Before, like when it's the baby, I think it's more changing for me because first I don't know what to do. And I had fears.
Luke is, I think his diagnosis has never affected us the way really I feel blessed to be his father, I think that he's taught me probably more than I've taught him, honestly. And, Lauren just loves him, and we've never treated him any differently than we would treat any other child, and we're blessed because Lauren is very good with him, so it's been a neat experience.
Yeah.
Another amazing success story is that of Brian Kajiyama, academic manager for the University of Hawaii Warrior football team. Brian came to Easter Seals when he was 2 months old.
It was easier to cope because there were other parents pretty much in the same situation, and you know, we could talk to each other, and it just helped us as far as coping with a child that we just weren't prepared for.
Coming back here today provided me with the sense of being able to give back to Easter Seals Hawaii by being able to share all of the positive experiences that the people of Easter Seals Hawaii provided, and I would say that the most impactful thing was that they instilled a greater sense of self-confidence and self-esteem by setting up activities that made us all successful and feel like winners.
Brian's job with the UH Warriors is a mutually beneficial experience for him and the players.
And this aspect of my life is important because it enables me to be seen as just another person on the team. I mean, sure, the outside public may still view me as that person in the chair, but within the team I've earned the respect of the players and coaches by just working hard, and through that I've become just another one of the guys, and they feel comfortable in joking around or playing around, which I feel heightens their awareness that persons with disabilities are just like anyone else.
The former Easter Seals participant plans to be a University of Hawaii professor, but first he's learning to have a new companion, his service dog.
I'll now feel comfortable if I might accidentally drop something, and he can be there to pick things up, and he'll also be able to do things like open doors. So I see Zeus as a catalyst to open new doors, figuratively and literally.
Brian also hopes to modify his van and be able to drive it someday.
The whole experience has reminded me of the Easter Seals Hawaii slogan, which is creating solutions, changing lives, because being able to be as independent as possible will enable me to do even more things and demonstrate that a disability should not equate to cannot, but rather we can do anything if we're willing to work hard and try new experiences.
Boy, what a great piece of film heritage. A little bit of the history of Easter Seals, some of the great people who helped start the organization, Governor John Burns, Hilo Hattie,
Duke
Al
Kahanamoku.
Harrington, Duke Kahanamoku, Danny Kalakini, a list of thousands. And yet, one of the things that I'd like to touch on that you kind of left off before the piece started is, not only did a lot of those people over 6 decades ago help start Easter Seals, but guess what? Some of them are still involved in Easter Seals today through other members of the family. Ed Sultan, his grandparents helped start the organization. Jim Burns has just joined our board of directors, and his father, Governor Burns, was our first president of Easter Seals as a volunteer board member. A lot of history there.
You know, and one volunteer that we cannot not mention is Fred Ida. When you talk about people who are committed to the mission of Easter Seals, here's a man who's been around for more than 50 years in Easter Seals. He's been given every possible accolade nationally and locally by Easter Seals Hawaii. And to me, he's the flame. I mean, Fred Ida is the flame that has made Easter Seals work.
He does hold people to a pretty high standard. When you have somebody who has been on the board and involved not only at the local level but the national level for over 5 decades, when Fred speaks, people listen.
You know, when I first went up to Easter Seals as a television reporter many years ago, on an assignment to cover Nanette Fabre, who was there doing something, Easter Seals up in Makiki consisted of a Quonset hut. And now look, among other things, you are building a magnificent new facility out in Kapolei, Nupuakea, and the growth is just phenomenal.